It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Tuesday evening, August the 1st. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and DAX tonight. Crude is bearish and trying to retest today's low, but we're too low to sell at this point, which tells us the sellers got to focus on selling high with traps, and this also gives the buyers a big window of opportunity to change directions ahead of tomorrow's big weekly inventory report. The S&P is range bound once again, telling us to buy the low, sell the high, avoid the middle, and focus on failures with that 2-try rule tomorrow. The gold is bearish after the bulls failed to retest today's high, and a strong push lower tells us to use that key reversal line overhead for the most reliable selling opportunities tomorrow. The euro started off the session very bullish, but after 2 failed attempts to retest yesterday's high, we're now looking for buyer failures to sell right back down to where we came from yesterday. And of course, the FDAX is bullish, and a recent overshoot of a channel tells us to look for a 2-legged pullback into the battle zone for the best buying opportunities on Wednesday's session. Speaking of Wednesday, I've got a great plan in store for you guys and gals. Got a big hump day session coming right around the corner tomorrow. We got some major news on the calendar, and of course, we're getting closer to Friday's big non-farm payroll number. Got a great video in store for you guys and gals tonight. Before we jump in though, don't forget the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link. Come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version, all 5 markets and all the analysis. While you're here on the blog, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when the nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on my many different social media channels. We got StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your flavor of choice. Follow me on social throughout the week for important charts, links, and updates. Don't forget, grab those charts below the video tonight on the blog here at Sideways Markets. You guys always tell me this is your favorite part of our nightly newsletter, is the fact that you can not only get the plan for tomorrow, but have all those charts ready on your computer. All the charts from tonight's video, download those charts and have them on your computer right for tomorrow's session. And if you do one thing else besides watch this video today, make sure you grab that free pass. You're going to learn more with me in 90 minutes on your free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Grab that free pass in the upper right-hand corner. And please don't forget, you guys always have such great questions. I know. Most websites are all automated robots and pre-recorded messages, right? Hit me up on live support, right? I am always standing by to answer all your questions. You can find that live support tool on the right-hand side of our blog and on the homepage at schooloftrade.com. Time is money here. Let's keep rolling this morning, this afternoon. Get ready for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, of course, is Wednesday, August the 2nd. Now, we talked about this in last night's newsletter. We are getting closer and closer to Friday's big non-farm payroll number. Shouldn't have too much of an impact tomorrow. We will be hearing tomorrow morning from the ADP employment report, so you will likely hear some people talking about how this will be a leading number ahead of Friday's non-farm payroll number. That news tomorrow morning at 8:15 Eastern time is going to come and go without anything really happening. What we will do though is it will be used as a reference number on Friday morning. So look for that more as we get later on in the week. So all eyes and ears as of the end of the day tomorrow will start shifting towards that Friday employment number. So stay tuned for more as we finish up the rest of this week. Speaking of news for tomorrow though, there really isn't a whole lot here on the calendar until we run into the weekly inventory report tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We get a little bit of construction numbers here from the from Great Britain. We got that what should be a minor employment report tomorrow morning at 8:15. So I'm not expecting to see much of a movement from those two news events on the schedule right now. I am definitely expecting though some big fireworks around the petroleum status report tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Now don't forget, a couple things about the number for tomorrow, This of course applies pretty strictly to crude oil traders. We do see a little bit of a shadowing on the S&P after that number comes out. But for the most part, though, this is focused for crude traders tomorrow, one of my favorite markets, crude oil futures. 2 things you want to be aware of. First, we have some support and resistance levels that we always calculate on Tuesday before Wednesday's report. If you want a copy of those levels, I sent it out earlier to my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter feeds. So if you follow me on the old social, right, you got those a few hours ago. If you don't, make sure you do follow me there. That way you'll have before I send this video out every evening or every week. If you don't have it already, just scroll down below the video on the blog at Sideways Markets. There's a link that says click here to read more. Follow that link, right, and that will take you down, right, to the full text below the video, and you can, of course, see all of these support and resistance levels that'll be good for Wednesday. All right, so first things first for tomorrow, we will be watching the key support and resistance levels that, again, were sent out to our social media channels. Also are posted below the video on our blog at Sideways Markets. If you're on YouTube right now, make sure you go to the website at sidewaysmarkets.com. There's a link in the description of that video. Second thing here for tomorrow is the cutoff. The cutoff is always going to be about 10:15 a.m. Eastern time ahead of that 10:30 news. Now, normally we'll use a 5-minute cutoff, but this ain't your average news report, kids, right? This is a big, it's pretty much the only news event each week that has a big impact on crude oil. Everything else is pretty small. In fact, it's one of the big reasons why I love trading crude oil. There's only one news event each week that really gets this thing moving, and it's tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. So 10:15 is the cutoff, and then after the news comes out at 10:30, give it 5, maybe even 10, 15 minutes. The key is before the news, it'll be a lot of people getting out of positions and gamblers getting in. You really don't want to mess around with that. So after 10:15, cut it, and then wait till 10:30 news comes out. When 10:30 news comes out, the market will usually whip all over the place. Give it at least 5 minutes, right? You might see it might continue to whip around, though, until 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. Let it calm down, right, and then follow the direction from there. I'll be very, very honest with you. The most reliable trades on Wednesdays for crude oil traders are before 10 o'clock Eastern time. After that, it's a lot of jockeying back and forth ahead of the news, and then it's a lot of gamblers that won't really be trading this market anything else besides that inventory report. So get to it early tomorrow if you are a crude oil trader. And don't forget, we're going to cover a lot of this tonight on the newsletter. We always have a lot of unexpected price action on inventory day. So I'm going to give you guys my best shot here ahead of tomorrow's Wednesday number for crude oil. Again, but with that big report coming out tomorrow morning at 10:30, we oftentimes see some very, very dramatic changes in direction, right, leading into that news. So it's always a little bit tough for me on Tuesday nights for crude trading. We're going to kind of take it when we get tomorrow because, again, the news is so big. Starting off tonight here, we'll go crude oil first. And we'll jump into the S&P. We'll go to the euro, right? Gold, euro, and of course wrap up on the FDAX. Crude is bearish ahead of tomorrow's weekly inventory report, and we have a bear channel, a strong move lower, and a possible rising support trend line, right, to work with for tomorrow. Now, first of all, the bear channel tells us to expect a pullback and a retest of that low, which you can see has almost been accomplished. The key word here is almost. The key will be avoiding the temptation to chase this move lower while staying patient for traps to sell high tomorrow. Now, one thing again to remember for tomorrow is that we oftentimes see a complete trend reversal ahead of the news. So while the trend is bearish now, it may not be bearish by the time we come in tomorrow morning ahead up the opening bell between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern time. Now, once again, I'm giving you guys more of those support and resistance levels that we used for Wednesday. I teach how we calculate these levels in my intermediate class. So if you're wondering, right, where do they come from, just log into your intermediate class. There's a whole chapter at the bottom of the intermediate class called Crude Oil Inventories, and I'll talk about how I create those levels. You'll be amazed at how sturdy, at how reliable those levels will be for tomorrow. Now, you can copy and paste these. You can write them down if you want. They're also, again, below the video tonight on the website at Sideways Markets. Couple things you want to keep in mind here right now. First things first, we have that strong bear channel down. Anytime we see a strong bear channel down, we always expect move up and retest that low. As you can see, they got the market up, right? They got a nice and high here, and they're trying to retest the low. The very first thing I see now is that if you're not short off these highs, the last thing you want to do now is sell down here. right? You're too low to sell at this point. Now, with that said, the second thing, right, the second thing that we have here is this real strong move lower. This strong move lower came from the weekly API report. Comes out every Tuesday evening at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, what do we know about news? News is a situation that most professional traders don't trade. So you can almost think of this as almost like a ghost candle, right? Almost as if it didn't even happen, which means you think about sellers selling high, they step aside, let this news comes out, right? And now all those sellers are sitting here going, well, wait a second. We're still waiting up here to sell high, right? We don't want to sell down here. So the big thing right now is think of that big strong move down. But think of where it came from. It came from news. Not a lot of people are going to want to trade during that weekly report, right? Tuesday evening, 4:30 p.m. from the American Petroleum Institute. That tells me there's probably a lot of sellers that are still waiting up around that prior day low, up inside that battle zone. It also tells me when you combine that with what we know already about the channel, we're too low to sell, right? We're too low to be a seller here, right? Another thing I see on this chart is the potential for, again, with tomorrow's being the big weekly inventory report, potential here for a full trend reversal. If that happens, this will become a rising support trend line, and we'll want to focus on buying off that trend line. Right now, though, this support trend line is just there for kind of illustration purposes only. It won't play into account until we see a new higher high and the market can keep going. Okay, so that rising support trend line, that's the reason why I put it in gray. It's not active yet. Right now, it's just kind of speculation. If we do see a new higher high here on strength, that will equate to a trend reversal, in my opinion, and then we will be able to use that rising support trend line. So how do we play this right now? Well, the bears have control, right? It's not a bull market. Again, it might be by the time we come in tomorrow morning. Again, we oftentimes see big reversals ahead of the inventory report, right? By the time we're done tomorrow, we might be right back where we came from today, right? That's very, very plausible. Or we might also be down, right, to last week's low, right, down around that 47.86, right? So we definitely might keep going lower, right, or go higher. Again, it's a little bit tough to tell. Why? Because we have that big news tomorrow. And there's a lot of positioning that goes on in the next few hours ahead of tomorrow's inventory report. Most important thing right now is we're too low to sell, right? We're too low to sell. I know the objective is down to that low at 37. That's the target for the bears, but we're too low to be selling right now. What I want to do is look to sell high. And to do that, I want to think about two specific scenarios. One, up to sell high, or two, down to sell high. These are two scenarios to keep in mind for tomorrow. The first thing would be up in that battle zone and give us another shot here to sell. Now, this is where the sellers are likely still hanging out up top there, right, waiting to sell. Again, don't get spooked by this trend line until it goes through that high, right, and keeps going. So option number one here is up, failure, and back down, up, trap, and back down. Or heck, maybe we even see a little bit more, maybe we see something like this, right? We see a two-legged correction back up, right, and back down. Whatever the case may be, I'm looking for selling opportunities with failures, traps, right, on the way back down to retest that low. At the same time, as price goes lower, right, I want to be very, very careful here right now selling into the objective, right? We never want to sell into the objective. So as the price goes lower, I find myself in a position where the only option is for me to sell low. Now, if you guys watch my newsletter, you can probably finish my sentence. What's my goal if my only option is to sell low? Don't sell low, sell high with traps, right? With traps, right? So trap high meaning as the market goes lower, right, you focus on selling high with traps. Now, that is whether or not we go down to that low and then trap high, or that is if we just run through that low, right? If it just runs, right, runs through it, fine by me, trap high, right? So the key here is you focus on selling high, whether it be getting up to, again, where we expect there to be sellers still waiting up here to sell the sucker back down again, or we go down, right? Don't take the bait. Again, trap high, right? Trap high. If you want to learn more about traps, make sure you join our free trial at schooloftrade.com, or make sure you come out and join as an advanced member, and we're going to trade those traps every day, right, in our trade room with all the other advanced members. So that's what I'm looking for here tomorrow to go lower. Again, now speaking of which, right, if you want to learn more about our beginner, intermediate, or advanced levels of membership, don't forget to go to the website here at schooloftrade.com. If you're on the YouTube channel right now, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link. Come join me here on the website at schooloftrade.com and learn more about our beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of membership. Also, I get a lot of questions every week. How do you learn more about my trading strategy? You can learn all about our trading strategy by taking our free trial. I'll shoot you out an invite. Come out and join the trade room as a guest for a few days this week or next. Don't forget, if you have any questions on the way, I'm always here standing by. My wife Megan and I have helped thousands of traders do this the right way, and there's no reason why we can't help you succeed as well. Hope you've had a great week so far. Tomorrow morning, we've got news on crude oil, so watch out tomorrow for you crude traders. We got potential for some big moves tomorrow, and of course, we're going into, right, that first week of the month, which means we're watching Friday's non-farm payroll number. I got more on this tomorrow night. Be here tomorrow, same time, same place, and bring some friends, will ya? Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.